What's up, guys? This is Morgan Cardfight Ring, and well, not a lot of stuff is going on right now. No new products come out, so there's not really a lot to do there. And our tournament was canceled this week, so I thought it would be time to bring back the good old lore podcast that you all know and love and have been missing lately, and talk about a archetype of Nova Grappler that's just gotten really good support, and I think could use a little time in the limelight. So let's just get started. We're going to start off with Blau Dunkelheit, the perfect guard, because I'm just going to try to maintain some semblance of, sequence to this and start with a grade 1. So the lore behind this is that it belongs to the Blau series, go figure, which was produced when Galaxy fights were established back in the early days of the Nova Grapplers League. So Nova Grapplers, of course, is a brand of wrestling that deals with robots versus robots. So like Ashura Kaiser had a big lore with that where he was like the king of the Nova Grapple. So there you go. There's the backstory on that. It's robot fighting in space now. Being an experimental mecha, it's armed with many new weapons such as computer terminal weapons that can exert defensive fields, and Jammer Finster that can shut down opponents' cameras and sensors forcibly in a short time. Though it is considered one of the mechas of the Blau series now, it was originally named merely as Dunkelheit, with a complicated past. It was a virgin work of a certain development team in the first place, but that team could not support its development financially and technically, given their work was not satisfactory even though they had spent double the time as expected. The project was passed to the development of the Blau series, which succeeded in manufacturing the experimental machine. Although it is currently being adjusted, its performance is outstanding. It seems only a matter of time to the rollout of Blau Dunkelheit. So these mechas are mass-produced. So the Perfect Guard experimental was kind of a pet project of something else that wasn't skilled enough to actually make it. So they didn't, and they passed it on to the Blau series, which is why it is Blau Dunkelheit. So that's kind of all there is to that one. We're going to go ahead and move on to, of course, Luger himself, the OG Grade 2. It's actually, still pretty alright, Okay, so a combat airframe utilizing the data of Blau Panzer. That's an old starter for Luger. And the concept of fighting versus large units. So, large VS units. I don't know what that means, but Blau Panzer was a little robot. This is a big robot. It's gonna fight the big robots. Make sense? Makes sense. It was equipped with thrusters, giving it high mobility, enabling it to deal deadly blows in close quarter contact with the use of enhanced energy weapons. The particle sword, Gold's Low, used for large maneuver warfare, stands out among armaments as it can expand depending on the amount of energy particles distributed in the blade. Theoretically, it is possible to reach 200 meters, enabling cruiser-class bisection. Cruiser-class bisection. Well, let me break that down for you. His sword can extend far enough to cut a spaceship in half. That's pretty crazy. I believe it looking at that art. Blau art is pretty freaking great. Like, I cannot get enough of it. I wish the new Perfect Guard had a full art I could put up there. Well, not the new Perfect Guard, but the reprint that had a different art. But man, Luger can cut through a spaceship. Like, his blade extends like the guy from Bleach that I can't remember. Well, that's awesome. And you can see he's got missiles in his shoulders and all sorts of particle weapons, and he's just the beginning of the Blau bloodline right there. Then we move on to the other Grade 2 Blau from the old days, Mars Luger. We moved on to Mars. I think I kept out the 10K Nilla. It was either because it didn't have a lore or I didn't really care. Something like that, because, I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little prejudiced to 10K Nillas, I guess. Mars Block Luger is improved from Block Luger, a mecha manufactured at the dawn of Novigrad. Okay, so it's improved from regular Block Luger. Its official name is BK-03M, Mars. Given the abilities of the pilot has improved since modern age, many occasions that mechas cannot follow the response speed of pilots occur. When numerous manufacturers and developers were tearing their hair, surprisingly, the development team of Block Luger is a team good at developing specific mechas succeeded in the problem. The development of high-performance mass-produced prototype mecha was completed in only 1 year by removing the versatilities from the mass-produced mecha Jupiter. Jupiter's the one I left out. Basically, he's mass-produced and hard to control, and nobody likes him. Mars focuses on speed and mobility. The unbalanced style succeeded in winning the needs of pilots. It was the major problem of the mass-produced model is the reduction in cost, so it can be on the production line stably. It's so successful the development team only noticed this problem after making the fourth of the model. So yeah, they basically made the 10K Nilla faster, and this one's a little bit too expensive, I believe it says in a later lore. So they only made 4 Mars, and then they moved on to something else. Then we move on to one that, you all will know and love, possibly. Maybe you'll hate it if you've gotten hit by its early rush, is Stern Block Luger, the final model of the Blau series type airframe, which was strengthened using data obtained during numerous battles. Equipped with high output energy weapons, Stern long-range artillery at high firepower became possible, so it gets a long-range one. The full-power salvo is commonly referred to as Stern Blitz, which is done by borrowing energy supplies from nearby airframes to enable continuous irregular missions that can last up to 692 seconds. 692 seconds is, almost 11 minutes. So yeah, 11 minutes of continuous laser fire. So I mean, I guess that even means that it doesn't even stop firing at all. It doesn't it's not like pew pew pew. It's more just like a continuous beam that just cuts through whatever it's aiming at, and it can do that for 11 minutes straight. And the way it does that is by absorbing energy from nearby units. I don't know if it means that it has to borrow that or not, but either way, it's pretty freaking cool. I mean, it takes the energy of other units. Is that do they have to give their consent to that, or does it just steal the energy from other units? I mean, because if so, wish this card was more broken than it is. I mean, it's okay. It's a restand that can happen multiple times per turn, but that's pretty early game rush since it's not limit breaking. But wow, 11 minutes of continuous laser fire, huh? Sorry if this one's a little bit chill, you guys. I'm just trying to kind of enjoy myself, read a couple little short stories about robots. It's always a cool, fun time right there. So Stern Block Luger, definitely pretty powerful, but we move on to the next one in the list, Pluto Block Luger. Pluto Block Luger is developed from Block Luger, of course. Everyone's developed from Block Luger. And its official name is BK-04P, Pluto. Its main armament is a particle greatsword called the Gold's Blitz Reis. So it's modified from Goldslow, Block Luger's original sword, with a larger size and presence to deal with large maneuverable units. In addition, it is equipped with Gewalt, a system to enhance the performance of Pluto Block Luger by absorbing the mana of its pilot. When Gewalt is activated, the exhausted mana is emitted from magical vents all over its body in the form of golden particles. Such phenomenon, accompanied by its astonishing battle records among the noble grapplers, wins it the title of Golden Deity of the Underworld. Nonetheless, due to the extraordinary requirement of mana for activating Gewalt, piloting it is demanding both physically and magically. The jet black deity of the underworld in its golden coat. At the moment its camera eye blinks, numberless heads and morale shall be reaped. So that's, wow, I mean, crazy. They're fusing magic and science here. To pilot this thing, you have to be strong physically and magically. and it has a bigger great sword than Black Luger, whose sword could already cut through, giant spaceships. So who knows what this thing can cut? Can't cut a planet yet, I don't think, but man, it's getting there. Certainly getting there. But magic and machine mix, and you know, that's pretty crazy. But also it's got the sleek black and gold design instead of like just silver and blue like a lot of the Black Lugers. You know, so I kind of enjoy its design. We're gonna move on to the Fighters Collection one, which is Mercury Black Luger, an advanced model of Black Luger that was manufactured in the early days of the new age of Nova Grapple League. It gets its nickname from the original official designation BK03M2, Mercury, which hints to the fact that it was developed by the same R&D team that built Mars Black Luger. Its performance is essentially on the heels of the O4 in its later days, because it's so hard to handle, it's said that it's a headache to find a viable pilot for it. So, of course, Black Luger has problems finding pilots for itself. And it just said, its performance borders on the earlier model O4. When you click on O4 in the Wikia, it takes you to Pluto Black Luger. So that's why this comes after Pluto, because it is an improved version of Mars, technically, because it's built by the same team, but it performs like Pluto. So it's very similar to Mars in a sense, but in another sense it kind of isn't. And I like how this is all kind of just going on. It's like some sort of Gundam Fight League or tournament or whatever, where they just keep developing new robots, and then they just battle it out and see who's got the best robot. It's really what the Nova Grapple is all about and stuff. And if you were to read Victor's lore, which I didn't because only the Victor Grade 3 has a lore, you would see that they're also fighting it out for entertainment purposes. Victor versus other mecha. So, that's a cool little tidbit. All of the Nova Grappler units just seem to be mostly about fighting over entertainment and stuff. I haven't read Beast Deity lore, but I know that the Ashura Kaiser lore is all about the wrestling stuff. So, this is just no different. It's just in space. That's pretty great. We go on to Mond Black Luger, the Brake Ride Black Luger, which is a successor to Black Luger who was produced when the Galaxy Fights were established back in the early days of the Nova Grapplers League. Its official designation is the BK04M Mond. Its frame is equipped with the Spatial Control Unit D-Gen Rapier and a computer terminal weapon which is said to be one of the strongest of its generations. Unlike fully automated weapons like this, D-Gen, my bad, I don't know why I said Dagon, maybe it is Dagon, I don't know, can be operated manually by someone with a good sense of spatial perception, good handle on maneuvering technology, and a good reaction time. A truly talented individual controlling it can increase its performance by nearly 7 times its limits if you trusted it to a simple dual AI. But it's a mecha that basically is too high performance for anyone other than its current pilot to be able to drive, so it's currently unlikely further models will be developed. No matter how powerful the mecha is, if the pilot is a buffoon, it's worthless, and vice versa. As long as it has a suitable pilot, it will continue to have a long line of illustrious victories befitting its name. So, Mond Black Luger, using that rapier. The cool thing about Mond Black Luger is it's a really good brake ride that, allows it, so whatever you ride on top of it, if it's a Nova Grappler, it restands all of your Nova Grappler rear guards. So, it'd be so good if Limit Break wasn't slow in the current meta. But, you don't really have to think about that. We're just talking about its lore. And its lore is basically just like, all the other ones' lore. Oh, it's an improved Black Luger. That's what we say about all the ones that don't really matter that much. It's just an improved Black Luger. It's an improved Black Luger. It's an improved Black Luger. They kind of just beat the dead horse on this lore and give you, a little tiny interesting tidbit, about how its weapon is cool, but that's it. So then we move on to the big boy, Galaxy Black Luger. And Galaxy Black Luger is definitely the one they want you to care the most about because he has, 3 lores. And it's crazy. So, it is the genuine successor of Black Luger. So it's not just improved Black Luger. It's, way better Black Luger. And that's crazy. A mecha manufactured at the dawn of Nova Grappling and Galaxy 5, blah blah blah. Its official name is BKO5 Galaxy. Unlike the other mecha developed from Black Luger, its shape and structure remains fairly unchanged when compared to the original design. So it looks like old Black Luger. To cover the disadvantage of Stern with respect to melee combat, the long-range artilleries of high firepower are replaced by a gigantic cannon named Grand's Canon. Armed with high-performance blasters and boosters, it can move quickly and flexibly. Its rollout of Earnest Petition is decorated with Grand's Low, a great sword with particle emission structure that has been developed recently. So it also has a low sword. It has one of the swords that, can cut through spaceships. Awesome. Now no one can stop the blue super fighter hovering in the azure. With a splendid performance in its first battle, Galaxy carved its name in both memories and audiences and the history itself. So I like how it's talking about its blue super fighting robot, because Blau means blue in German. So, it's great. It makes sense. Its lores continue down here with this guy talking about how he's like super fanboying over all of the Blau stuff, and he meets the pilot of the Black Luger, and he's talking about they talk about galaxy fighting, and he becomes the pilot of a Stand Trigger Starker Wind and wants to become a Black Luger pilot one day. So that's cool. And some honorable mentions. We got Volmond, who's the new Limit Break. He's okay. And then we have Solon Black Luger, who's the new Stride, and is actually pretty fantastic. He makes a whole lot of combos go off and does a whole lot of stuff. But because those are two brand new cards, they don't have lores yet, so there's nothing really much I can actually say about them. But here's what I can say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried not to make it too long. I wanted you to just be able to sit back and listen to me talk about giant robots, even though that might not be the most interesting thing in the world. But hey, trying to bring you something that's cool, different, a little bit content. We haven't done it in a while, so it's a little bit special. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, share it with friends. Leave us a like and subscribe, because we are so close to our 100 subscribers, and that means that you potentially are so close to getting free stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.